Okay then, Stan the Annuity Man, America's Annuity Agent, licensed in all 50 states. That's including the one you're sitting in. We're talking today about guaranteed income annuities, what comprises that guaranteed income floor. We're going to talk about that. But first, producer, because I think I shocked them with this wardrobe change of Hail Stan. Wait a minute. You can't be that big of an egotist. I'm not. Some band put out this album, and the album was called Hail Stan. So, of course, one of my loyal followers shot me this email, says, hey, they got this Hail Stan gear. Of course, I went and bought all the gear because I thought it was cool. But now this is the funny part. Now, my birthday is in April. It's April 21st. I'm not going to give you the year because I know that you think I'm really young, and I really am not. But according to my producer, and she might have given herself away here, okay, the 420 thing I think has to do with marijuana. Okay, whatever, old fogey, duh, I have no idea. But you know, I'm assuming that someone's going, wait a minute, Stan the Annuity Man on this shirt promoting marijuana. No, it's Hail Stan. Or as my wife says, we're 1A away from it being something else, which is the reason she doesn't like it. Figure that out. I'll be right back. All right, so guaranteed income floors. Let's first talk about, not guaranteed income floors, guaranteed income annuities comprising the income floor. Let's talk about the income floor. What is the income floor? I always use that. Everybody needs an income floor. It's not like a floor, but I guess it's kind of a foundation of income that's coming into your bank account every single month, regardless of who's in office, regardless of what happened in the world, regardless of whatever virus has happened, or regardless. It's that pension type income stream that everybody wants eventually. Some of us want it earlier than most. There's 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day or reaching that retirement age every single day. And all of the people that call me, and yes, when you call Stan the Annuity Man, you're going to get me because I make all the decisions and recommendations. They're looking for income. So income floor could be Social Security. By the way, that's an annuity. You don't believe me? I wrote an article the other day and got a lot of blowback. I put every United States citizen owns an annuity. It was on thestreet.com. And great company, great site. I'm promoting them because they are great. But it's true. If you're a United States citizen and you've paid into Social Security, you own an annuity. It's your Social Security payments. It pays for life. What do annuities do? They pay for life. So Social Security is part of that income floor. Also, if you're a government worker or a union worker, or you just have one of the less than 10% of the private companies that offer pensions, remember those? You got the gold watch, and then you got the pension payment. If you're one of those people, fortunate for you, that's part of your income floor as well. Great story. My parents were both, first of all, they were college coaches. And I put myself through school playing basketball. I am 6'6". I used to be 7'2" with the hair, but my wife made me cut this big mop of hair off. But anyway, my parents then transitioned to be like middle school teachers. And they did that for the rest of their career. And when they retired from the North Carolina State teachers system, they got a pension. And my dad, bless his heart, and passed away a couple years ago, he'd always talk poor mouth, we don't have any money, and we didn't save a lot of money. And I'm like, Dad, you got this pension, and it's probably worth $1.2 million or $1.3 million, based upon where you're getting paid, based upon your life expectancy, because that's how they pay it. But that was part of their income floor. That was a main part of their income floor in conjunction with Social Security, or as they say in the South, Social Security. We don't finish anything, it's Social Security. Anyway, but then you can also have dividend stocks being part of that income floor if you have some rental income. Whatever's coming in every single month is part of your income floor. The problem with where we're at now in society and workplaces is companies have gone away from the pensions. Like I said, less than 10% of private companies even offer them anymore. What they have is a 401k type plan. You probably have that where you are working. What is that? That's for growing your assets. It's called a defined contribution plan. But when you decide not to work anymore and retire, hopefully, you're going to have to take those assets and convert them into part of your income floor, into a life expectancy, lifetime income annuity. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you how to do that. Okay, so guaranteed income annuities. So we're talking about the income floor. How do you create that income floor? Well, there's a couple of ways. First of all, you need to decide when you want the income to start. That will determine the type of annuity that I will quote using our proprietary annuity calculators that quote every carrier on the planet, as far as I know. If we're not quoting, you better contact me because I'm Stan the Annuity Man. I'm America's Annuity Agent, #1 agent in the country. And what we do is we run those numbers through our calculators to spit out the highest contractual guaranteed income for you. So you need to tell us when you want that income to start. Now, there's a couple of ways to do guaranteed income annuity type structuring. You can say, hey, we have this lump sum, or I have this lump sum of money, and here it is, and here's when the income's going to start, and it's going to be either on my life or joint life with my spouse or partner, okay? Tell me, Stan the Annuity Man, how much income that will create. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions about, all right, so it's life only, or joint life only, or if you want to put in a structure within the policy so that 100% of any unused money goes to the beneficiaries. We'll have to go through some structuring choices. And by the way, I've done a video on that, on annuity structuring choices you might want to take a look at. But those are the type of things that you need to tell me. Obviously, I'm going to need date of birth or dates of birth if it's joint. The other way to do it, which I love, and no one really pushes this because I don't know why. It's the right thing to do, but it might create a lesser commission for the agent, okay? Because all annuity commissions are built in, you never see them, but obviously the more money you put in, the more commission, right? So I tell people, instead of saying, okay, here's the lump sum, why not look at your income floor and tell me what gap needs to fill, whether it's $2,500 a month or $3,000 a month. I did a big one the other day. The guy had, we need $17,000 a month. Wow, that's a lot, but we figured it out. What you do is you reverse engineer the quote. In other words, I put in the quote parameters, dates of birth, when the income's going to start, and then that monthly income that's desired, and then the carriers bid on it, and then we choose the carrier that says, for this amount of money, the least amount of money, we can guarantee that number. Obviously, we do the claims payability, and we look at their ratings and Comdex scores and things like that. So just put in the back of your mind, the two things kind of to take away is I can do it lump sum, or I can do a specific monthly amount and solve for that. Now, when I come back, we're going to talk about inflation. Producer, I put some lotion on my hands. We're in some mountainous region of the United States. I won't give that away. People always say, Stan, you always say you're here. I'm never going to tell that. It's secret. Producers, they're living in anonymity. They want to keep it that way. But my hands are like falling off. So with that being said, let's talk about inflation, okay? That's kind of the gorilla in the room. People are like, well, you know, what happens when inflation hits, Stan the Annuity Man? There's no good answers to that, just bad sales pitches. There's no perfect answer and perfect product and perfect strategy, even though most agents will tell you they have it. They do not. When you can attach increases to annuity payments, they're called cost of living adjustments, C-O-L-A, COLAs. You can put a COLA on the payment contractually. You can say, hey, I want it to increase 1% every year, or 2% every year, or 3%. It's your choice. But understand that annuity companies have the big buildings for a reason. They don't give anything away. So anytime you attach an increase to the income stream, the annuity company is going to lower the payment. Let me do a visual for you with my unchafed, very, very moisturized hands, producer. Same annuity, okay? But here they are. Here, this one right here is the one without a COLA. Same annuity with a COLA. So what the companies do is they lower the payment to make up for that increase. And you go, well, that's kind of rotten. No, it's called business. It's called them pricing it so that it's still based on your life expectancy, but they're going to lower that initial payment, the annuity companies, if you put that cost of living adjustment increase on that. By the way, if you didn't know this already, you already own the best inflation annuity on the planet. What's that, Stan the Annuity Man? It's called Social Security. I mean, politicians raise that payment just on their political whim. There's no actuaries looking at that. So you already own the best one, but there's no perfect answer for inflation. What I tell people, like if we go back to the example of putting a lump sum in or solving for a monthly amount, if inflation does hit in the future, then we can address it at that time. In my opinion, at that time, you go back in and you might have another monthly income gap because of the inflation, and we do a reverse engineered quote to solve for that inflation amount, and you can use as little money as humanly possible. One of the biggest mistakes I see in the annuity world is that people put too much money into annuities. The annuity industry doesn't like that either. They have rules in place where they don't want you to put all your money in, and they will actually spit the applications back and say, hey, this is too much allocated to annuities. Thank goodness for that. The only way around that is if agents, and I hope they don't do this, but we see this sometimes, they fictitiously fill in the application, so always ask for a copy of that application. But hang in there with me, I got one more thing I got to tell you. Okay, I was just talking about putting too much money in annuities. I've done a video on what's the percentage you need to put in a portfolio in annuities, and I'll talk about what the industry says, what I say, which is as important in my opinion, because I'm Stan The Annuity Man. But I'm moving all this around, sorry about that. I have written 6 owner's manuals on all types of annuities. I'll send these to you for free if you go to theannuityman.com. Your postman will show up with this gold foil mailer with all of them in there, unscathed and in perfect condition, because you need to understand what you're buying. You need to do your homework. Do not believe a sales pitch. Do not believe what anyone tells you it's gonna do. Read the contract, read my books, go to my website at theannuityman.com, read my articles, read my blogs, listen to my podcast, and every day I put out one of these videos. So with that being said, hit the subscribe button if you don't mind, just for me, just because I have a Hail Stan t-shirt on, and that's quirky, right? Is that quirky, producer? Of course it's quirky. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next Stan the Annuity Man video.